What is up guys, and welcome back to SP Vids. As you can see in this video, I've got the MPC2000XL and I want to share some tips with you on this device, and hopefully these will help you to speed up your workflow a little bit. Now I would probably say that these are kind of beginner tips, to be honest, so if you know your way around the 2000XL, I'm not going to be coming up with any amazing crazy tips that you've never heard of before, but if you are new to this device, then I'm sure these are going to help you improve the speed of your workflow, even if it's just a little bit. This machine can be quite time consuming to use and you do have to be a bit patient with it, but with these tips hopefully you'll be a little bit less irritated when you're using this machine and you can get making beats a little bit quicker. So the very first thing I'm going to show you is to do with trimming. So if we go to Shift 5, I've got a little drum sound here, it's a snare, and hopefully you can see here that I've got the cursor highlighted on the start point. So you'd probably go to the start point and start trying to use the wheel like this and doing it that way, and it takes a long time, especially if you're working with a long sample. Obviously this is quite a short recording, so I don't need to jog that far. However, we can still even make this easier. So let's reset that all the way to the start. And what you can do is over on the left here, you can hit Shift and you hold that, and you can use the slider then to change the start point and the end point, whichever one you're working on. So hold Shift, and apologies for all my hand movements, I'm trying to avoid my microphone as well, so they're a bit weird. But if you can see here, you can use Shift, you can hold Shift and then use the slider, and look at that, it's way faster for selecting where you want the start point to be. So let's go ahead and get that right there, and then what you can do with the jog wheel is do your fine tuning. And as you can hear there now, I've got that pretty much exactly on the start of the snare sound, and what I can do is just press edit and then discard and go do it. And we've got the snare right at the start. Okay, the second tip is to do with entering numbers. So let's go to another sample that I've got here. Hopefully you can hear that one, and I want to go into the program and change this. So I'm in program, I've chosen the pad that I want, I'll go to parameters and I'm going to tune this, but I want it to go down a lot. I want to down tune it a lot. So we can use the jog wheel again, but as you can see, it jogs pretty fast when you're doing this, and sometimes it can also be very slow. It depends on how quick you spin that wheel, but basically it can get very annoying. So it's better off to use the keypad over here. Let's get that back to 0, and let's say I want to do -50. Now we don't want to have to do the jog wheel to do minuses, especially if we're doing them over say 16 pads. If we want to down tune all our pads to the same tune, that's going to be a real pain to use the jog wheel every time. So all you have to do is hit enter first, and then as you can see on the screen, hopefully it's come up with a minus. Then we do 50 and press enter again. And there we go, it's shifted that down by 50 counts. So that's much easier than using the jog wheel, and it's a lot faster as well. Okay, another thing as well, which is a huge tip for the MPC, and that is when we're typing and naming things, it can take a very long time to do. So say here, for example, we've got track 1 here, we want to rename it. Okay, so you can use the jog wheel to reset it all back to 0, and I'm just going to do that quickly first. That is a bit of a pain, but the best thing to do is actually look at the pads here. You can actually see they've got letters underneath them now. It took me a while to get into the habit of using these, but once you do, it's so much quicker, guys. So let's say we want to call that track 1. I mean, it's just hypothetical, obviously. It was called track 1 anyway. So as you can see here, it's the letters above. So this pad here has S and T. So if I hit that twice, it gives me T on the screen there, as you can see. So track, so Q and R, press that twice, and when you change pad it automatically selects a new letter as well, so it's very quick to do once you get into a good habit with this. There we go, I've typed track already, which would be, it would take ages with the jog wheel to do that basically, so that's way quicker. Just use the pads here to type things out and keep things organized. Another good habit to get into with the MPC, which kind of leads on from this, is to name things shorter. So track, for example, I would probably just say TRK. So let me do that. So TRK, and there we go. And maybe then just 1, which we can, oh, that's a 7, which we can use the number pad for. So there we go, enter, and we've got that called track 1 now. I know that's a hypothetical example. What I would actually do is probably call each track related to whatever instrument is on that track. So it could be hi-hat, snare, bass, or kick. So for hi-hat I'd use HH, for snare I'd use SNR, and for kick I'd probably use capital K and then smaller k or something like that. So that can help massively to keep your beats organised, but also you can see exactly what's going on each track, and it's a lot faster than using the jog wheel as well. Okay, so my final tip here is to do with sampling. I can't really show you on this. Well, I could have done, but I'm not going to because it would take me too long to set it all up. So basically all it is when you're sampling into this unit, it's actually, I think, quicker to record the parts that you want and do the grunt work of jogging through the track or jogging through the vinyl manually, if that makes sense. So get to a point, you've got your vinyl, you get it to a point where you want to sample, you sample that bar, you press stop on your player, you start a new recording, you sample the next bar, and then you assign those to the pads. Now you have got the zone functionality on the MPC where you can just record in a long sample, chop it up, but you can get the chops perfect if you actually just do it manually and then use trim to just trim off and make sure you get it exactly on the beat. So that's just another quick thing which I think can massively speed up your workflow on this device. Only record in the chops that you want, so you kind of recording in the chops manually, and for some people that can result in a much quicker workflow. So they're all the tips I've got for now. They're kind of like beginner / intermediate tips for improving your workflow on this device and making it a little bit quicker. I hope they helped you guys. If you've got any simple killer tips yourself, feel free to leave those in the comments below, or I'll be doing more videos about the MPC very soon as well, so I'm going to have loads more tips coming hopefully, and workflow recommendations, etc, etc, so stay tuned for that. Also, don't forget to head to spvids.com and pick up some drum packs of mine. They are the sole reason why I'm still being able to do these tutorials at the moment for you guys, so that's almost 100% of the funding of my channel as well as my ads on YouTube. So if you can go ahead and support me by picking up a pack, that would be really useful for me, and it keeps me going doing what I do, so I would fully appreciate that. Huge thanks again to all my members for the support as well. If you're interested in membership, check out the link below. Keep making beats, guys, and I'll be back with more content soon. Peace!